Hello, myself I'm Keshwan from CSC Section B. My topic is my topic is a comparative analysis of legal status of noise pollution in Iran and other countries. Improvement of technology in all arenas in the contemporary age has caused a great increase in the use of machines and various equipments. The fast development of such equipments places man in his daily and professional life prone to undesirable acoustic turmoil noises with various intensity in a way that today noise constitutes an inseparable part of the human life. Problems resulting from noise pollution in the past are not comparable to those of the present time. Automobiles crossing the cities and rural areas, huge trucks with diesel engines and heavy loads moving in the cities and freeways while their engines and exhausts are not tuned properly and thus produce too much noise. Aircrafts and trains, industries, construction sites, and many other activities in society have contributed to the environmental noise pollution. Next. In spite of ever increasing and undesirable effects of the noise pollution on man's health, the Iranian legal system has considered the issue as just implied in the Environmental Protection and Development Act in 1974. Article 104 Article 104 of the Third Social, Economic and Cultural Development Plan of the Islamic Republic of Iran in 2000, which was also approved and put in the force for years 2005 to 2009, according to Article 71 of the Fourth Development Plan. Next. However, in Article 27 of the Air Pollution Control Law in 1995, Executive Bylaw of the Noise Pollution Control Law in 1999, Article 8 and Table 5 of the Executive Bylaw of Clause C of Article 104 of the Third Development Plan in 2000. The issue of noise pollution is explicitly mentioned. The following laws and regulations have also accounted for the issue but cannot be called in evidence. Point 1. Municipalities Act in 1955 Amendment Clause 20. Article 2 of the Punishment of Carrying Knife and all types of cold weapon and disturbance of the Public Security Act in 1957. The Traffic Signs Regulations and Directions 1939. Traffic Offence Bylaw Amendment 1945. Traffic Offence Bylaw Amendment in 1945. Loudspeaker installation and use regulations in 1960 and the amendment on the traffic signs regulations and directions in 1968. Next, as the Iranian legal system suffers from shortcomings and problems in the area of environment, the following research was conducted with the aim of identification of the legal shortcomings as to the noise pollution issue in the city of Tehran, though studying the legal status of the issue throughout the country. See the picture. The laws and regulations on noise emission in some of Asian, European, and American countries were extracted from a few credible websites and the related references in libraries. In this section, noise laws and regulations in a few countries are explained briefly and classified according to the continent in which the country is located. A. America. California Health and Safety Code and California Vehicle Code are used as a means to reduce noise pollution in California, and Canada has set up standards for noise emission labeling and maximum noise emission for consumer products. Next point. The country has established guidelines for noise control over transportation systems and bylaws for city noise control and noisy social activities. In Germany, the laws and regulations on the noise pollution issue are the Federal Clean Air Act, Federal Air Highway Act, Railway Noise Act, Aircraft Noise Act, and Traffic and Noise Act. However, in Australia, the laws consist of Motor Vehicles Act, Road Noise Control Act, and two other regulations on the control of the noise produced by industries. Spain is rather different from the above two countries in that there is no particular national law in this respect. However, in Spain too, there are a few regulations on the control of noise of the traffic and industries. In the UK, noise control laws are the Antisocial Behaviour Act, nighttime noise control in residential areas, and the Vehicle Noise Act. In Ireland, there are regulations concerning the use of noise barriers and road construction with the observance of acoustic pattern of the area in which the road is constructed. Denmark has similar laws such as the Aircraft Noise Act, use of noise barriers in buildings, and two bylaws regarding the noise produced by industrial activities. In order to control the noise, France classifies the noise pollution sources and road, rail, commercial and industrial activities and residential areas. France has passed three independent laws as to the industrial activities, one law on the rail traffic, one law is bylaw as to the traffic noise control. The law of noise effects on human health and three acts on constructional activities and the use of noise barriers. Netherlands has considered the noise pollution in its laws, some of which are the pollution sources, zoning, and use of barriers from them. The Environmental Protection Act, the Transport Act, and some other road traffic regulations, noise pollution, and the Clearing House 2007 noise and nuisance policy in 2007. Point number one, Turkey, which is an Asian European country, passed a comprehensive law to control noise, including 5 chapters and 9 attachments. The law provides a detailed list of noise sources. China has law of 8 chapters in this respect. Japan has established regulations to control vehicles and construction noise. In India, noise regulations cover most of the pollution sources. In order to make an easy legal analysis, the noise pollution sources are divided to two major categories, static and dynamic. Each of these two is also divided into subcategories. Noise pollution static sources are constructional activities including building construction, road construction, and city construction. Point number two, industries. Point number three, other air splitting activities in the society such as music, sound, etc. We can see now in the figure 1 to 3. Figure 1 shows that noise laws and regulations for building and road construction, and figure 2 shows that noise laws and regulations for other static sources, and figure 3 shows that noise laws and regulations for industrial activities. We can observe the figures. However, the dynamic sources of noise pollution are the following types. Point 1, vehicles and car traffic. Point number 2, aircrafts. Point number 3, trains and locomotives. Point number 4, ship and motorboats. We can see now figure 4 to figure 7. Figure 4 shows that noise laws and regulations for vehicle and traffics. We can see that noise laws and regulations for vehicles and traffics. And figure 5 shows that noise laws and regulations for trains. We can see here noise laws and regulations for trains. And figure 6 shows that noise laws and regulations for aircrafts. We can see here noise laws and aircrafts, noise laws and regulations for aircrafts. Okay, now we can see here figure 7, noise laws and regulations for ships and motorboats. We can observe the figure. Now, by investigation of laws and regulations of 14 countries consisting of 8 European, 4 Asian and 2 American nations indicates that in most of the countries examined, noise pollution problem has been considered in a few separate laws covering all noise sources with regard to the significance and variety of those sources. As it can be seen in the figures mentioned above, investigated countries have no significant supervision on some specific static noise sources like buildings, construction, equipment, and noisy neighbors. However, these countries have stiff regulations in dynamic sources and some static sources as well. In this group of static sources, industry's noise pollution can be mentioned. As a result, in Iran, the existing laws are still insufficient because of the fact that they don't cover all the pollution sources. Next, for instance, the country's Noise Prevention Act has only considered industrial activities and motor vehicles as the sources and does not have any account of their sources such as social activities, construction, and air and sea traffics. Moreover, there is no particular punishment for violation of the regulations in the Act, and lawmaker has used the Air Pollution Prevention Act and its related punishment as evidence. And next point, it is also noteworthy that even though Iran has not yet defined any particular standard for many of the noise sources in the country, the third development plan has provided instructions on the calculation of the noise pollution fines. Article 8 Executive Bylaw of Clause C Article 104. Wait for a minute. Now, at last, I concluded that according to studies and analysis, the Iranian legal system in the area of noise pollution suffers insufficiencies and problems. The law and regulations are not comprehensive and hence cannot work to solve noise pollution problems in the environment. It seems necessary that a legal revision should be made and a more comprehensive legal framework be drafted and implemented as the Noise Prevention Act to reduce and control noise in society and respond to social needs as an independent law with an advocate implementation guarantee. And by investigation of the laws and regulations of 14 countries consisting of 8 European, 4 Asian and 2 American nations indicates that in most of the countries examined, noise pollution problem has been considered in a few separate laws covering all noise sources with regard to the significance and variety of those sources. As it can be seen in the figures mentioned above, investigated countries have no significant supervision on some specific static noise sources like buildings, construction, equipment, and noisy neighbors. However, these countries have stiff regulations in dynamic sources and some static sources as well. In this group of static sources, industries noise pollution can be mentioned. As a result, in Iran, the existing laws are still insufficient because of the fact that they don't cover all the pollution sources. At last, images of noise pollution in Iran and other countries. Awareness of noise pollution. Checking of noise pollution. Okay, thank you.